Hello everyone, dear friends. The Christmas and New Year holidays are approaching ahead of us, which means it's time to decorate the Christmas tree and apartment. A smart LED garland with addressable LEDs will help us with this. It can be controlled not only from the control unit but also from an infrared control panel and even from a mobile phone. Its main difference from other garlands is its price. We can safely say that this is the cheapest smart garland. Price was less than $6. Moreover, its length is 10 meters, and various color modes will allow you to find exactly the one that suits your style of Christmas tree or home decoration. I have already reviewed a smart LED garland based on addressable LEDs with the ability to control via automation via Wi-Fi. But the cost of such a garland is much higher, although I agree that there are more opportunities in a smart home. I have had this garland for quite a long time and it always produces its wow effect. But let's return to the smart but not so smart garland. The seller has options of 5 meters and 10. I will say from experience that more is better, more options for creativity. It comes in a blister like this. On the back there are instructions for connecting the ideal LED mobile application and the capabilities of the control panel. And the seller noted that the length of the garland is 10 meters. The garland itself is wound on a plastic bobbin, which prevents it from being damaged during delivery. I don't recommend throwing away the reel. After the holidays it can be conveniently stored. The garland can be hung outdoors, moisture protection complies with the IP65 standard, water jets from any angle. But this does not apply to the controller. I would place it in a place protected from precipitation, or in a special mounting box. But LEDs are no longer afraid of water and moisture. Each LED is sealed in transparent plastic. The wire is quite soft, which allows it to be twisted and bent without fear of breaking it. The addressable LED is a WS2812B Robic LED. This LED does not have a separate white LED, so the white light in this RGB LED garland is obtained after turning on the red, green and blue channels by the same percentage, which gives a slightly blue or slightly violet light. But in a garland this is not so important, and this fact directly affects the price. The distance between LEDs is 100 millimeters, or mathematically, 100 LEDs on 10 meters of garland. I recalculated, everything is correct, 100 LEDs. Everything is clear with the LED strip. Let's move on to the controller itself. Inside the transparent plastic is the control board. To switch operating modes, there is a single control button on the top of the controller. Next to it is a microphone hole and an infrared signal receiver. Yes, despite its very low cost, the manufacturer also thought about functionality. The built-in microphone allows you to turn the garland into beautiful light music for your party. After turning on the controller, the music mode is activated, where the colors and their movement change to the music. There are 11 such modes in total. Later in the tests we will look at them in more detail. Next are prepared scenarios for how the garland works. They change by pressing a single button. There are 20 pieces prepared by the work script, quite a bit of. After turning off the controller's power, the selected scenario is saved in the controller's memory. After turning it on, the garland will work exactly as you turned it off. This is also a big plus. The manufacturer didn't even skimp on the battery for the control panel. We take out the plastic shipping insert and can use the control panel. The remote control is powered by one CR1220 battery. At the top there are 2 buttons to increase and decrease the brightness of the garland. Next is the power off and on button. At the bottom, select the glow color. Red, green, blue, and white. Below them are purple, orange, yellow and blue. Press the button for selecting operating modes. And now, using the buttons with the lightning icon, we can select the operating speed of the selected mode. Increase or decrease. Nearby there is a button with arrows. This changes the direction of movement of the selected glow mode. Below it, a button with circular arrows is a quick switch between the selected mode and the single color operating mode. Button with a palette, changing the color modes of the garland. Mode 1 and Mode 2 buttons also change the operating mode. Buttons with notes activate the garland color music mode. There is also a shutdown timer after 4 and 8 hours. The corresponding buttons are located in the lower left part of the remote control. It's quite convenient. We turned on the Christmas tree light and after 4 hours or 8 hours the garland will automatically turn off. Let's move on to the mobile application. To do this, download and install the Ideal LED application through Google Play or the Apple App Store. Don't forget to turn on Bluetooth, since control is only via this protocol. We launch the application and literally immediately we will have our garland on the list. If there are several garlands, then there will be several of them in the list. Although the garland is not positioned as smart, the application has a lot of possibilities. Let's start with the settings. If something goes wrong and the garland shines red instead of green, you can make color corrections. The number of LEDs and the length were determined perfectly. We don't touch anything here. The LED was also chosen correctly by WS2818B. There is no information about the device. Well, it is not necessary, but the instructions describe everything in such detail, every step and action, that I don't even know what to add more than that. Okay, let's briefly go through the modes. Since there are simply a huge number of work options and their settings. DIY mode. Here, or simply select the same glow color, RGB palette of your choice. So we can make each segment glow in the color you choose. Select the color and its brightness and select a segment. You can choose a flickering mode, fast or slow. Wash if you choose the wrong color. Well, add what you drew to your favorites for a quick launch later. There are 16 different options for garland placement in the scenes, from a tree, a fence and a Christmas wreath, to curtains, lighting and even car decorations. For example, the Christmas tree has 10 ready-made work presets. But for some reason, when turning the page, they don't switch on the garland itself. No action occurs from the garland. Perhaps I'm doing something wrong. But I checked almost all the presets. Don't be upset. Here another mode comes to our aid. Here we can already choose our color, brightness and speed. If you create something interesting, add it to your favorites. In favorites we find our presets, but they don't want to work. It's a pity. Program functionality. In cycle mode we can select from 2 selected modes, and they will switch, but in practice this does not work. The camera mode is interesting. The garland reproduces the color that falls into the smartphone camera. In manual mode, we can take a photo, and the garland will take the photo and set the glow to the main color in it. In the rhythm mode there are 10 preset color music operating modes. We can select both the required lighting mode of the garland and indicate where to get the sound from. By default, this is the smartphone's memory. But we can also switch to the smartphone microphone and the garland microphone. By switching to timer mode, you can set the time and day of the week when to turn on and when to turn off the garland. Excellent settings, just right for the garland at 6 p.m., turn it on, turn it off at 11 p.m. Well, we can immediately turn the garland off or on. Let's test different operating modes of the garland. Let's start with the musical ones and then go through the various lighting and lighting options.
just a boy. Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am. But right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Very cheap price, which can be compared with buying a not smart garland without the possibility of remote control. In a regular store, I consider it a very good purchase. And the presence of various control options, color music, and a large number of built-in operating modes is another huge plus. Even though it cannot be controlled while outside the home, it cannot be automated to turn it on. But for this we have a smart socket where we can set a timer for turning on and off the USB port. Since the garland remembers its last mode, we get beautiful lighting depending on automation or time. I was a little disappointed by the performance of the application. It was very crude, so to speak. But you can still customize the garland mode to suit yourself, although not all functions work correctly as the manufacturer intended. Let's hope this is fixed in app updates. Or is this only possible for smarter Wi-Fi garlands? That's an open question. I hope the video was useful to you and was able to reveal all the capabilities of this smart garland. You will find all links to products in the description under the video. There is also a link to a Telegram group where you will find not only new products on the smart home system but also promotional coupons and other communication and answers to questions. Please don't forget to like the video if you like it and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other interesting videos about smart and not so smart home system. All the best to everyone, peaceful skies and goodness. Bye bye.